I'm working on some leading at Liberty again, and you saw her other video where we were just starting out with it. And now I think she's a lot more solid with it. I'm just going to use the target to bring her attention back up. I think she was looking for some treats that were dropped on the ground. I'm just going to have her follow my hand target here. And she's really good at leading just on her own. She was halter broke when I got her, and she leads well. Like, she doesn't have any issues with that. And then she pretty much just went right into like the clicker training with that. She follows my hand target. She's in a good position. Like, this isn't going to be a problem solving video because she does it pretty perfectly. If you want to see more of that, I would look at Caster's and Sebastian's because both of them I had to fix their leading. But she leads in a good position. She follows like right by my shoulder, like right there. Her head's like, kind of even with my shoulder. That's where I really would like them to be. If she's a little bit of a head, it's not a big deal. Um, but there she got a little bit of a head, and I'm just gonna feed her behind. So I'm just gonna not reinforce her for being in that position. And then now that she's standing in the correct position that I want, I'm just gonna click and feed again. Then we'll step off, walk off. And then one of the things that I mess up a lot on, and that'll help with leading, is I there I'm gonna feed behind again because she was a little ahead of me. Is pausing after like you've reinforced. So I'm leading my horse, or I've stopped him, I'm clicking, I'm feeding, and then I should pause and wait a few seconds before I have them come like go again. And that was one of the big things that I messed up with all my horses. Dakota is fine and Atlas was fine because they're not very forward horses. That's where we ended up having issues with Sebastian and Castor. Is then they were like, I want to go again, and they're anticipating because I didn't have that pause in there. So that's really important. And I don't think I did it necessarily with her today. Um, but the feeding back is another thing as well, where you're going to feed them in the correct position that you want. And that was another thing that I had problems with too. So there she's stopping. That was really nice. There we do have a little bit of a pause. So I'm going to wait and click and reinforce her for staying still there. There, that was better. So I paused a while and then asked her to walk off. So that is an important part of the leading. Those two things I'd say are key. And then another thing would be clicking while they're going forward. Like, you can click and then while they're going forward, but I would either feed back, or I would have them walk forward if they're a forward horse like Castor, have them lead forward like she's backing up. Um, I'd have them lead forward, and then you could click, or I would not click. I would lead forward, stop, and then click. So I'd be clicking for the stopping of the leading versus the going forward for those horses that are really forward. So that would be another thing. So those three things would be really important for a horse that's really forward or wants to get ahead of you. Things like that with leading. But she's really good at that, and she's very good at backing up too. So that looked really good for her. I'm going to give her a little bit of a jackpot here. I think I'm going to mess with her saddle. I might be tightening her girth right now. Yeah, and then I'm just going to ask her to come up to the mounting block. And I had just thrown some treats onto the mat there. And I'm just going to help her out with the target to show her which side I want to be on. And that looks awesome. So she's got um, her side right where the saddle is, the girth line basically even with the mounting block. So that's pretty much perfect. That's exactly what I want. And her backup looks really nice too. So she's gotten better at that. We can do multiple steps backward with just my hand cue. Really good. And we can just build on that too. And then I'll just ask her again on the other side. And this is just, I was just kind of playing around and wanted to make sure she was good with the saddle going up to the mounting block. Again, my habit of doing way too much. It was already looked good. Like, I needed to just calm down and chill with that. But yeah, that would be the finished product of going to the mounting block when you ask. Um, and then just a good example of leading and of the backup too.